Well, good morning everyone. It's Saturday morning, getting ready to run a few errands, and it's a beautiful, beautiful day outside. It's in the 30s right now. It may actually get up in the 40s, and well, yeah, we got some snow yesterday, so hasn't melted off. This next week is supposed to be getting up in the 40s consistently. Basically, we're having March weather here in February, but we got a little taste. It kind of cooled off down around in the low 30s yesterday, and we got a little snow, got a few inches. But most of this will probably be melted off by tomorrow afternoon. We do got a little more precipitation coming here and there, but most of it's going to be rain. Oh, these longer days and the sunshine, and just makes me want to get out and start working in the yard, but the only thing I can do out in the yard right now is shovel snow. So I'm gonna go and do my errands. I'm gonna get some Easter towels prepped today so I can start getting Easter towels done and ready to put into my Etsy store by March 1st. Hopefully I will have them all done and in the store March 1st so people can buy them for gifts for Easter. Easter's coming March 31st, I believe, is Easter this year. So I'm going to be hard at work trying to get more products in my Etsy store and get my Easter towels done and in there in time for everybody to order for their Easter gifts. But boy, isn't this an amazing, beautiful day today. Well, I'm getting ready to go to church, and it snowed again last night. In fact, it's still snowing. Gonna have to brush off my truck. But yes, it's a snowy Sunday. I need to clean off the back steps and the sidewalk and get all that done. But yep, we got snow up here in Idaho again. Oh well, I'll talk to y'all later. I've got to get off to church and then get back and get home and finish putting this video together and get it out today. Talk to y'all later. Well, good afternoon. I've got finished this one. I had done it trying to get my Easter towels ready by March 1st. I got this one all done and finished this set a while back, but I hadn't put the button on, so I didn't have it listed in Etsy. So it's done. I've got one more of these. I've got two, and then I got there's a surprise one under there. I got a couple of those. Saw them, picked them up, went okay. So yep, there we go. Get a little preview. Those will also be listed, and I will get these listings restocked, and this listing restocked, and this listing restocked. And once I get this, yeah, there should be about 2 of everything that will be restocked in my Etsy listings, plus 2 new ones. I saw them at the store, had to get them. Really excited to get going on them. And yeah, we're going to have new Easter towels in the Etsy listings. Well, it's Sunday, it's snowing. I can't do anything outside. I still need to get my garden seeds all sorted out and into my containers, and then we'll go over them when I'm doing that. I generally don't even start planting any starts until after the 1st of March, because the weather can actually end up looking like this outside. in March. It can look like this outside in March, so don't want to get too hasty. Yes, I have got to get these. I've got these all done now. I'm going to photograph them and get them listed today. Today is Sunday. They'll get listed today, so these scrubbies are. These scrubbies, I've got to make some more blue scrubbies to go with them. So I have not, and I've got to get some more of this yarn. I ran out of yarn and I didn't get enough, and now I've got to find some more of this yarn. This was supposed to be scrubby number 6. Nope, didn't get made. So I have at least 6 sets of these, and they will go into this bin. This one right now is holding all my Christmas scrubbies, so they're still up on Etsy. These ones are up on Etsy. These ones I'm not quite sure what to, you know, the colors remind me of the ocean, so I'm thinking something like seafoam and heather. Yeah, it's kind of like I thought that green, it looks like a heather green. So I'm thinking something like seafoam and heather scrubbies. Trying to come up with creative titles that describe your products is not always easy. Anyways, I'm going to be getting on to these. Get these done. And hopefully by March 1st we'll have all the Easter towel listings will be restocked and ready for people to buy their Easter gifts. That is the plan. Oh, by the way, what's coming in Scrubby Land? Well, I got more scrubby yarn. Look at that. I got some blues. I got a red, white, and blue there, so watch out for 4th of July, Memorial Day. Got some white, got some browns, some pinks, all kinds of colors to make different scrubby sets. And I think that it will do quite well having pre-made sets. I just love my scrubbies. Love the ones that were given to me, and I love the ones I have made. I just made them the same size as the one that was given to me, and I'm using it to death. But anyways, we're going to have a little sit-down Sunday chat. I should have done one last week. I didn't. Sorry about that. I didn't get one midweek done. Work has been very busy, and I've just been very tired when I get home at night. But we'll do a little chat. I didn't get anything done last Sunday because I had my son and my daughter-in-law and my beautiful little granddaughters here, and it was just so fun to have them. But we'll do that here in just a little bit. We'll sit down and we'll have a little chat. See you in a bit. Well, good afternoon, everyone. This is Meg from Meg's Little House in the Country, and we're just going to sit down and have a little chat right now. I kept thinking of different things I could talk about, but one thing that seems to keep coming up in my news feed a lot, you know, on both Facebook, and it's been popping up in videos on my YouTube channels that I do like to watch, is bread making. Apparently a lot of people are making bread right now this time of year, and I can understand that. It is just one of those times a year where bread seems to be a thing. And I can remember when I was little and we lived up in Montana. We had a house there. It was a half unfinished basement house, and we heated it with a fireplace and a wood stove. It actually wasn't too bad, but Saturdays was bread baking day. So on Saturdays we baked bread all the time. It was my mom had these big loaf pans that had come from a bakery, and they used to be welded together, but my dad cut them all apart so they were separate, and then smoothed off the edges so there weren't any edges. I think my mom might even have one or two of those old loaf pans left. They were long and square, long rectangular. They made those nice rectangular loaves that you would, sandwich loaves that you would find. Anyways, I learned early on how to bake bread, how to mix it, and we never had a written recipe. My mom just had a list of ingredients in her head. She knew the approximate ratios that were needed. In fact, when someone once asked her for her bread recipe, she actually had to think about how much she used of every item, because she just kind of eyeballed it, and she taught me how to bake bread the same way, just to eyeball the recipe. But she had to experiment with actually making a written recipe so that she could share with other people. And I thought that was kind of funny. We actually had a neighbor who lived across the big wooded park, who always tried making my mom's bread, because she loved my mom's bread. She'd try the recipe and she just never could get it right. And so my mom would send me over to show her how to make bread, and I would usually end up making her bread for her. And this was when I was probably about 14, 15 years old. And so I'd go over there and make her bread, mix up the dough and get it rising, and once it had risen, get it into loaves and get it cooked. And but yeah, I always thought that was a little funny, because for me, my mom had taught me from the time I was young to how to make bread, and just how to measure with my eyes as to how much it needed and how much kneading the dough needed to make it smooth and soft and elastic. And so for me, it was very easy just to throw together a batch of bread. And I guess some people just weren't natural cooks with ingredients and stuff. I always loved cooking, especially when I was young. I just loved experimenting with recipes and learning how to do new things. It was quite interesting for me to be able to do that. Anyways, that's one of the things I've been thinking about a lot, is making bread. I also have a sourdough starter that lives in my fridge. Every now and then I get it out, I pour off the liquid, because it tends to separate when it's stored in the fridge too long, and then I skim off the top because it looks kind of grayish. Then I mix up more flour and water and let it warm up to room temperature, put some more flour water mix into it, and then let it sit for a couple of days until it gets really nice and bubbly, and then it can be used to make sourdough bread. I love sourdough bread. Right now my quest is to find a good sourdough bread recipe that actually uses gluten-free flour, because I really miss sourdough bread. Having to eliminate gluten from my diet kind of it's a little difficult not being able to have some of my favorite breads. But yeah, I would love a good gluten-free bread recipe that I could use my sourdough starter with. And I haven't killed it yet, even though sometimes it goes months sitting in my fridge, because I have been able to successfully resurrect it several times. It's a starter my daughter gave me years ago. I've kind of nicknamed it Lazarus. I've heard that if you neglect your sourdough starters for too long, you can actually kill them and they won't come back from the dead. But I've never had a problem pulling it out from the back of the fridge and skimming off anything there and mixing up more and getting it bubbling nicely. And It just has the most lovely fragrance when it's really bubbling and getting up close to the top of my jar. And it's one of those things, I just need to find a good gluten-free recipe and good gluten-free flour that I can use to transition my starter into it. And that's one thing, you know, if you know of anything, drop a link in the comments. You know, I'm really up to exploring gluten-free sourdough options and getting Lazarus moved over towards the gluten-free state of being so that I can have breads every now and then. So what do you do? What are your earliest memories of making bread? Do you make your own bread? I know there's a lot of people who don't, but I've always liked homemade bread. There's just something about it, having recipes that are just clean ingredients, and there's no preservatives, there's no bad things in it. You can actually make sure you put in healthy fats, healthy oils, organic sugars, and using organic flours to make your own healthy bread options. I'd really be interested. And what are your memories of making bread? Like I said, making bread on Saturdays was just a thing I did in the house, you know, growing up, and it was always really nice because the whole house would just smell like fresh baked bread. And we would sometimes make use bread dough, leftover bread dough if we made a little extra, and we'd roll it up into balls and roll that out and make fry up some. We called them scones. We just fried them on a griddle, and it was actually more of a flatbread, but it was really good, fried up with butter and honey on it. And that was something of a treat. So, fried up flatbread and just making scones. Well, we called them scones. I know that scones can be different depending on where you live. But it, like I said, it was a flatbread. It really did make a flatbread that is probably closer to naan, or, you know, some type of fry bread. But it was just bread dough that was rolled out thin and flat and then fried, you know, cooked up on a griddle, and we'd drizzle it, slather it with butter and drizzle it with honey. And that was also really fun in our house when I was growing up, as well as having slices of fresh bread for dinner at night. That was one of the things we always did. And, you know, my mom actually cooked dinners that were served, and as I grew up and got to be a teenager, I helped cook those dinners too. And we'd set the table, and dinner would be put on the table. We'd have thick slices of homemade bread with butter, and we did make our own butter too. My mother had a butter churn. She no longer has that butter churn. I don't know what happened to it. She sometimes wishes she still had her butter churn. It was a glass butter churn that had some beautiful decals on the sides of it, and it held about, I would say it was probably about a 1 gallon size, and it had a metal lid with the handle that turned. It had wooden paddles in it, and my mom actually made butter with it. So it was a working butter churn. It was considered an antique even when I was a child, so it was probably from the 40s, I would say, her butter churn. She still wishes she had it though. And it would be fun, you know, if we still had it, to still be using it to make our own butter, because there's also nothing like fresh homemade butter. So I will leave you all with that. I will have a link down below to my Etsy store. You can keep an eye on for when the dish towels come out. I will also, yeah, and just let me know, what are your childhood memories? Do you have any memories? Did you bake bread in your family at all? I mean, we did a lot of baking in my family growing up. Cinnamon rolls, bread, rolls. We would bake lots of cakes with a large family and people almost having a birthday every month. Yes, cakes got made quite frequently in our house. So it was quite enjoyable. My memories of baking bread. It does make me want to bake bread some more. So yeah, I would appreciate any gluten-free sourdough bread recipes you can send my way that I can experiment with and see if I can make some bread that I can eat. So this is, if you like my videos, please like, subscribe, share. Today is a very snowy Sunday. There's not a whole lot to do except for, well, as you can see, I'm working on another towel topper on this towel, getting it crocheted. I'm almost got enough. And then I'll be putting an edging. I've got some purple yarn that I will be edging it with. And this will go with this set, which says, "Hippity hoppity, happy Easter." This is why I bought extra towels last spring, because that way I could have them ready by this spring. Only I'm a little behind. I should have had these towels already done by now. So I've got to hurry up here and get towels made. So I'll talk to you all on the next video. Please like, subscribe, and share with your friends. Thank you, and have a great week.